Good evening, folks, and welcome to another rendition of Freedom to Be Free, the Freedom of Being. My name is Brian Johnson, and we're in Urban Legend in Hamilton, New Jersey for the last couple of weeks. We'll be closing this operation and moving on to other kinds of things that stem from this operation. And we are grateful to all of you who have ever stopped through, had a conversation with us, shopped with us, and we enjoyed your company and enjoyed the exchange of our humanity and the love that we shared and the peace that we shared. We thank you for you and for the God presence that is within you. We pray you always feel those blessings inside, that you always have that fundamental joy within you that helps you, assists you to move forward in your life. Um, it's kind of a bittersweet kind of departure for me, having been involved with Urban Legend for the past 12 years. However, it's also in the sweetness. It's also a new beginning and just a new sense of freedom and liberation to see what my future will hold as we build other kinds of concerns that stem from this platform of social consciousness, fair trade, and just being decent to the rest of our humanity. It's a very simple thing, and we believe in that, and we pray that you do too. And we pray that you take the time, always, to be as decent to yourselves. And that's my conversation for the day. It just has to do really with loving ourselves and getting out of our minds with the frustrations and things that go on. We don't love ourselves strongly enough. The beauty of this thing is that when we do indeed love ourselves well, we love all of the rest of creation well also. But most of the time, the barriers to that process have to do with how much we're thinking about and the impressions of energies and spirit that are on the mass consciousness of all of us who are existing here. So it is important, really, to take the time to be at one with yourself, to be at ease with you, to just take a walk, to nothing fantastic. You don't have to know every mantra and sit for hours and hours at a time in meditation, but you should have a wonderful sense of yourself. You should have a way of doing it like Tai Chi or Qi Kong, where the movement of your being is in the flow of your own personal energy. And you're so very much attached and aware of that, that it brings you a quiet, peaceful joy from the inside out. And then it helps, of course, with everything that we're doing in our work environment, our families, our relationships in general. And it is a necessary thing. It's not just something that we should just kind of consider from time to time. Let me advise, if I can, the very, very deep wisdom of doing that on a daily basis and consistently a couple of times a day, to pause out of our routines in the course of a day to just reflect on the goodness of being, the beauty of love, the idea and the very presence of peace within us that's always present, but usually is blocked by all of the thoughts and all of the circumstances that are going on around us. And they give us so much stress that it actually squeezes out even the thinking that we can even spend time just being quiet, just enjoying life for what it is, without this complex bit of madness, like we like to refer to it from time to time, that always surrounds everything that we're doing. So how do we break through that, what they call a fluvia? It's like a plastic film that you have to push your way through. I don't know if you've ever seen it in the movies sometimes, where there's a spirit in the wall. They'll stretch the wall out, as Hollywood would do, just to represent the presence of an energy that's coming after the folks who are inside the room. And when I refer to a fluvia is exactly kind of like that, except for we're on that side trying to push our way through, trying to get into a larger reality, a larger sense of consciousness that expands our thinking and our experiences. So in order to do that, we have to know us more than anything else, more than our jobs, more than our families, more than anything. You have to come to grips with yourself. They used to call it just finding yourself. Well, it's an interesting thing. It's kind of on a line of looking for why you don't feel in sync, and at the same time creating what you want, being able to manifest beyond the circumstance. And that's a difficult thing until we practice it enough. That's why the sitting, to understand the power, the energies, and the love that we have that have been given us. And we have the ability to masterfully create the realities we wish. But there are processes to make sure that we're creating exactly what we want as we evaluate through that quiet sitting exactly what it is that's going on in our minds and see if it makes sense. See if there's wisdom to what we're trying to do. See whether or not there's a truer desire to have that thing done in your own soul. And if you do, then find out why or where the blocks are to that manifestation. So it's a wonderful practice of discipline for the self and connect to your higher being inside. The energies that you would call God are the very energies that exist in every aspect of life, but more so because your consciousness is present within your body temple. There too, then, is the presence of God as you, as you. Know ye not that ye are God's, Judeo Christian text. And throughout the world, there are a lot of understandings of seeing yourself as this microcosmic energy of creation, made in the image of that which created you, to create yourself and to create the world that you would wish to have, independent of the thinking of the masses, independent of your tribe, independent of your even your own history. It has to do with what you want today. And if you're willing to do all that is necessary to get in touch with you, manifestations are certain. And isn't that a promise that you'd like to hold on to? Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door is open. Ask, and it's given. The irony is, all of the desires of your heart are present within you. So, in that sense, you are asking yourself permission to manifest freely in the liberations and the authority that you have as the gift given from God to do as you wish. Of course, if you sow something negative, you will receive something negative. And if you sow something positive, you will receive something positive. That's the law of life. And you may not see it right away, one way or the other. But I have found in my experience that it'll be contingent upon how much I'm willing to get with myself and open myself up to exactly what I want, and understanding that, then zeroing in on it and moving towards it. But I found also that there's another critical aspect to that. And for me, it is the moving towards it is also has a bit of an oxymoron to it, because we are supposed to also open up and allow the grace of that receiving to be that grace of reception, so that we can actually receive the very thing that we're asking for. Now, what is the block to this manifestation? It is the fact that we don't know how to receive. And that is based on the fact that we don't know how to love ourselves fully. Because in the reception of love to ourselves, then everything that we would say we want, we open up a passageway, a pathway for manifestation to take place that much more quickly. If there are hindrances within our being, then we will find hindrances to the manifestation of that which we want on this plane. It's a difficult lesson sometimes, because we don't like, I don't think, I know I have a problem with it, to recognize the fullness of that responsibility on this level. And I've been in like spirit walk for so long, I darn near forget that there's this grounding principle that makes this so on this level. So you're bringing in what's above, so below, or what's above deep inside your heart, let's say, to the outside, to this plane of manifestation in this reality, so that what you say you want, you see, you manifest as you open up your heart and allow the flow, the breath, to bless you in miraculous ways. We would call them miraculous, but this would just be the law in operation. So this is what's been on my mind. And the thinking, it's the thinking that skews it. And what will skew bad thinking will be deep breath. To breathe, to energetically, intentionally allow the breath to inform you. Allow the breath to show you what it is or who it is you are. Allow the breath to bring the wisdom of the energy. The breath is an element with great blessing. Without it, we do not live. Therefore, its use is pertinent to everything that we do. And it seems such an irony that we would even have to say that. If we need to breathe to live, then ergo it would seem that we would know to breathe more deeply, to more deliberately, in order to live better. So keep that in mind as you're on your journey and understanding who you are and what it is you wish to do with your life at this stage of your life, whatever stage it is, whatever decade you may be living. Make sure that you're spending time with you. Make sure you're spending time with your God in you. Make sure you're spending time in the godly creation of nature. It blesses on levels that are seen and unseen. We can feel it in our senses, and that's true sensuality. True sensuality is allowing our senses to experience life correctly. Different from sexuality. We're talking our senses being stimulated and blessed. How else would we experience life except we taste it, feel it, hear it, see it, any of those factors? Even those who may not have the faculty of sight or may not have the faculty of hearing, their senses are heightened in other kinds of ways, and then they become blessed by acutely being able to use those aspects of themselves to still experience life in the fullness, in a fullness that we might not even be aware of, because with all of our senses working, uh, having one sense out of whack, so to speak, or not functioning, acutely enhances the sensitivities of everything else that we have. So, in a sense, it winds up being a strange mixed blessing. I wouldn't want to have all of my faculties, or any of my faculties missing, but for those of us who are in that space in their lives, blessings to them for being able to either hear better without sight or see better without hearing, etc. So God bless, but use what you have, I would say. Love yourself enough and find out everything about you that you need to know. Not arbitrarily, not based on what your mother said and your father and your tribe and all the rest of that. But what is the new you? If you are said to be a new creature, what does that look like to you? You're a new creature, so who are you? Who are you? What do you intend to do with your life? How will you live it? What will you master about your own being that enhances your life to the fullest? What do you see then as your purpose when you're in that space? Ask yourselves those questions and evolve yourself further, because the journey is yours. No one can take it for you. It is your blessing to be able to do so. And it is in the journey itself. It is in the journey itself that the greatest sensuality takes place as we learn. And when we arrive to our goal, we find that it is the entire experience of getting there that made everything worthwhile. So God bless you today. I'm going to leave you with a couple of readings, a few things that we wrote. This one comes from, that I wrote. This one comes from my book of poetry called Mountains Moved. And the poem that I'd like to share with you is called Peace Be You. It's something that I say all the time. Peace be you, be love. It originally came from a poem that I wrote when I published this first book of poetry. Peace be you. Before the mind is overwhelmed and the body exhausted from your routines of living, stop and give into the rest that beckons your soul. Know deeply that Providence will always have you take your measured time. Take that time within a rhythm that is without anxiety. Take that time within a rhythm that is without confusion, that is without exhaustion or undue haste. And let this knowledge be your strength and your protection. Consider your restful refreshments a cooling libation of patient spirit, confident in the healing power of a moment's pause. And let these many moments sustain your inner balance. Life is the gift of these many moments. Liberate each one in the stream of love, along the course of wisdom, moved by the rushing power of unbridled joy. And let this work be at the heart of each inner creation, the mantra manifesting all goodness onto thee. Peace be you, be love. Namaste. Please remember, folks, to like and subscribe down the bottom there. And from all of us at Urban Legend, as we approach our close in 2 weeks, please come by. We have sales going on. I'd rather not take this back to storage. So we'll work something out with you if you have to. If you want to do a little bartering old school, there's our sales bazaar over the next 2 weeks. And our hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 6 p.m. We wish you blessings. We wish you peace. God bless. Namaste.